Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here today. So we are from Group 3 and we're going to talk about social cognitive theory. So before we start our presentation, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Nanda.
My name is Bonifasi Sinaga.
My name is Fanny Nurlaini.
And my name is Clara Satyana Safira. Purpose. The objective of this presentation is to provide comprehensive review of Albert Bandura's social cognitive theory. Its main principle and concept is provided the means observational means self-efficacy, self-regulation, and its wide-ranging application across various fields.
In this presentation, we will talk about definition, process that influence, principle of social cognitive theory, implementation, summary, and conclusion.
Next is definition. Let me start off by defining social cognitive theory. Well, begin our explanation with the definition of social cognitive theory and its key principle. Social cognitive theory, developed by Albert Bandura and named during the 1970s to 1980s, is a prominent psychological term that posits human behavior as the result of a dynamic interaction between personal factor, environmental influence, and behavioral patterns. This concept of reciprocal determinants highlight the active role individuals play in shaping their own experience and outcome.
Then we continue the discussion about the process that influence it. At the first point, there is the attention process, the ability to focus on the relevant aspects of the observed behavior. The behavior must grab the observer attention before it can be imitated. Bandura considers learning to be an ongoing process, but he points out that only what is observed can be learned. At the second point, there is the retention process, the process of remembering the observed information for later use. Retention involves transforming information into a mental representation that can be stored and recalled later. Information is stored symbolically in two ways. At the third point, there is the behavioral formation process, the ability to imitate the learned behavior. This involves coordinating physical movements and using the skills needed for the task. The behavioral production process determines the extent to which what has been learned will be translated into action or performance. At the last point, there is the motivational process, the incentive to perform the learned behavior. Motivation is usually driven by the anticipated consequences, such as rewards or social approval. Reinforcement has two main functions. First, it creates an expectation in the observed that if they act like the model they see reinforced for a particular activity, then they too will be reinforced. Second, it acts as an incentive to translate learning into performance. This is the chart about the principle of social cognitive theory. Personal cognitive factors include knowledge, expectation, and attitudes. Influence environmental factors include social norms, social influence, and community. Influence behavioral factors include skills, practice, and self-efficacy. This is called behavioral pattern or social learning.
Next, one, personal or cognitive factor. This includes a person's knowledge, expectation, and attitudes. This factor influences how a person thinks, processes information, and makes decisions or take action. Two, environmental factor. This includes social norms, social influence, and the community around the person. This factor shows how a person social and cultural surroundings shape their behavior through shape, expectation, or norms. And three, behavioral factors. This involves skill, practice, and social confidence or social efficacy. This factor focus on personality to perform how practicing can improve their skill and their confidence in performing certain behavior.
Implementation. To this skill session, first, students indicate what their parents do. Example, the father and mother are diligent in cleaning the house and helping others. So, nature, who learns through observation will imitate students' behavior. Second, context of mass communication. Example, when someone watches television, so are social media comments. The different behaviors of activities performed by others and replicate them in their own life.
So what have we learned today is about Albert Barner's social cognitive theory explains that our behavior is influenced by thoughts, environment, and actions, or reciprocal determinism. We learn through observation, vicarious reinforcement, and our abilities or self-education while also regulating our actions through self-control. And in this conclusion, we have discussed about social cognitive theory helps in understanding human behavior by examining the interactions between personal belief, the environment, and actions. This theory helps in various fields such as education and promoting healthy lifestyles, and emphasizes the role of social learning and personal control. So that's all that we can say about social cognitive theory. Thank you for your attention.